Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your girl, Charlotte Pudding. Coming at you guys with another spicy matchup today in the form of Pudding playing into the one and the only Belo, which, we're a little terrified due to the fact that Belo is very, very good into 4 life leaders, and Pudding, yeah, we have to make it to late game while facing a wide board such as Belo, and it's very, very tough to be able to do that. But we're going to try our best today. Let alone this list is a little bit different than the previous one you guys saw. I adjusted it slightly. This isn't the final variation. I'm still waiting for my violas to get here. Outside of that, Shirahoshi is going to be a placeholder for my viola here in this particular build. So typically, when it's all done, said and done, this will be gone and you'll have a full play set of viola just for my particular build here. Going forward, this is working wonders for me. Just in case you guys don't see a Katakuri, you have another option of being able to play down viola and just flipping life and swinging again. No matter what, you always get the Dawn, which is nice, right? And you also get a blocker here, which is very, very vital against aggro decks, Belo, Zoro, and of course Yamato. Being able to have a cheap blocker on board, whether it's Anana or Viola, is pretty solid here in those matchups in the early game. Going into late game, of course, you have your 9-cost mom and your 10-cost mom to be able to secure games. This allows you to out-sustain your opponent while removing a body on board. It's very strong into aggro, and Big Mom does Big Mom things, of course. We all know that. I decided to cut down Katakuri from 4 to 2, and playing around with this ratio from 2 to 3 at most. Here in the majority of my list, it's doing well for me. The Hiyori, on the other hand, I decided to max out my 0-cost events and stick some Hiyoris in here just so I can play around with 0-cost and life if need be to stall out my opponent if they're playing an aggro list. Let alone I can go ahead and stack stack Beji in life as well. But in any case, we're going to dive into this game today, so you guys in a split second, let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into this matchup here with Pudding into Belo. I am not looking forward to this one. I am quite terrified of aggro matchups as Pudding, and sitting next to me is another Belo player, and across from me is a Belo player, and then diagonal from me as well is another Belo player. And of course, we get matched up. So, hopefully we win this match, and my other 2 Belo are on this table lose, so we don't have to play against them again later on today. That'd be great. But in any case, we play off a Searcher here, and we end up taking the 10-cost mom. I know that's probably not the best, but if we somehow make it to the late game, at least we can burn life and heal, which can help us out sustain, but we'll see. We got to get there first. Our opponent did decide to keep their hand, so I assume they had like double searchers, in which they did not, so I'm a little happy about that. It allows us to survive a little bit longer here. We're gonna go ahead and swing for 5 here, or sorry, swing for 6, just because we can go ahead and stack out the Viola. I don't want to play Flampes and rip life early, especially in this matchup, so we're just going to get down to 6k, ramp up, play down Viola, hopefully no trigger, which is nice. And then you have 2 options here, which is really, really good in this matchup. You can go ahead and rearrange Belo life, or you can go and set yourself up. I'd rather, we messed up here, well, we do fix it, I'd rather just flip my life down and get a blocker on board. I'm geared to getting my ramp as fast as possible, even in this matchup. My opponent, whether or not they get a trigger on board, it is what it is, man. It's fine. Ideally, it's not, but I'd rather be able to get my ramp. I don't want to miss any ramp stages, otherwise it just sets me back. So, they get themselves a new Vonkov here, which we already know they're going to pitch a card in hand to play down Kurasu, and there's a free swing on my opponent there by going 5 to 4. I, of course, could guard out, but I'd rather take the hit just because we have the Katakuri in hand that we can set up for next turn, in which that allows us to drop 6-cost Katakuri and the Anana, which is top in our life right now, which is really good. So we're going to go ahead and take the smack here. In the long run, I don't necessarily know if that was the play I would actually take looking back on this game, but it works out. Because now we have to worry about triggers here as well. So it's either getting a body on board or getting a body on board. So we're going to go 5 here. We're going to flip life up again. So we get another blocker and a Big Mom. We're going to ramp up. He does get a trigger It's not one of the triggers in which I thought would pop up. I was thinking like, you know, another big body that can swing for like 7Ks or whatever, but being able to pop my blocker is it's a pretty bad thing in this situation here. But we at least get to have another one on board with the Inanna that we can play off the Katakuri's effect. So now do be mindful when you're playing against any Katakuri player, purple or yellow purple pudding. Inanna is not a blocker unless there's another purple Big Mom character on board. So if your opponent has like a 1-cost pudding down and then they drop an Inanna, she is not a blocker until there's a purple Big Mom Pirates character on the field other than herself. So that's just something to keep in mind. The sim does it all for you. It's a little bit easier, but when you're out here in locals play, you know, you're playing against other Katakuri players, for example, who also utilize this card. Everything that they play is purple, so it's a little bit easier for him to get off the effect. Pudding, on the other hand, if it's a yellow character on board plus a Inanna, she is not a blocker. So my opponent thinking here. Tapping 3 Dawn. What do we play for 3 here, actually? In Belo Betty. Inizuma, right? That's 3 Dawn? Okay, Morley. I did forget about this. I know a lot of Belo Betty players have cut Morley out entirely, which I don't understand why, but at the same time I do understand. You know, it pitches cards from your hand, and it's a no counter card, so he does still work. It's just another threatening body off of life, but yeah, the hard cast Morley is not really ideal for me. Because now he has to pitch another card in hand here for leader ability. Yep. So that is Ivankov. So he had 2 non-counters in hand with the Morley and Ivankov. Boost, boost, boost. Sure. Now Ivankov's ability can be activated because it's a 8,000 power. Which if he has another Karasu here, it could be very much detrimental for me. So we're going to go 7 to face, or 8 to face, sorry. Remember, we're 4, so we're going to take the Shirahoshi here. He's got 3 Dawn open. Okay, we'll give him a 2K. Remember, again, we're 4. So, another one. And we'll give him another 2K. Because I almost forgot that we were 4 again. There goes that. And then I will block the Ivankov with our 1-drop blocker here. Thankfully, Morley can't swing, you know, because he just played it on board. Otherwise, he just pops it. Which is nice. 3 Dawn open. So this is going to be either an Izuma, another Morley, or an event. Which is the hormone event. Otherwise, I don't know why you save up 3 Dawn instead of going tall here just to get damage into my face. So it's probably one of the 3 here in hand. And I think he has 2 cards left. So prior to this, he had a Morley, a Ivankov, and if he has a hormone, then that means he has 3 bricks in hand. I think he has 2 cards left right now. I don't remember. And for some reason, he's playing with his cards underneath the table, which bothers me a little bit, but what are you gonna do? Okay. So there's an not Ivankov, sorry, Inazuma. And if you're wondering, that came off of the Ivankov's ability. That's why he can attach the Dawn. So now he's gonna swing for 7. And we have to pitch here, so we go to 7 here. And there's 8. We're good. Alright. Yeah, so he has 3 cards in hand. Okay, well, excuse me. Let's go 7 into Karasu. If we can get this down, we can probably self-sustain. Which we're able to take out Karasu this turn. And I have to be mindful of this swing. I think most players here would go for the Inazuma, because it's a 5 into a 4. But if he just pitches us a 2K, we lose. Because then he has 4 bodies on board plus lead, not counting any rushers that he has in hand. So that would be, what, 5 swings? Or 6 swings, which would be kind of crazy. But we cannot allow to have at least 1 body on board here. We have to clear 1. So we're going to go for the Kuma here. I think it's the safer pick, in which he shouldn't be able to counter out this turn. We can finally get that one off the board. So on the following turn, he has 4 swings, again, not counting anything in hand. We get the gain of life. So he still has to hit us 4 times to win the game. So we trash. There is a first trigger, or the second trigger in life, which is nice. So if he can safely get a Karasu down, which is highly likely, then we'll probably lose the game here. Or if he already has one in hand, you know? Because he can just get that off the Inazuma, or sorry, the Ivankov's leader ability. Or sorry, Ivankov's ability. You know what I meant. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the best case scenario here, but he's definitely in danger, and he has to go for game this turn, and he's not going to survive the next one. Unfortunately, he does get the Inazuma here, or sorry, the Ivankov here. Sadly enough, I don't think he finds the Karasu, and I would imagine if he did have the Karasu in the top 3 here, he would already play that on board. And I think that's what he is looking for. So the best thing in this situation would be another Inazuma or a Searcher Belo Betty, which he does get. Because he still has the other Ivankov on board that he can use the ability to play Karasu from hand and or off the search of this Belo Betty. Hopefully we're safe. So I think if he does get a Karasu here, we just get cooked, right? Because he still has 4 swings plus a Karasu hitting the board, which makes us a 4K lead. We have 1 2K in hand. And then he has... Right now he's got 4 Dawn open, I believe. Or 3 Dawn open. I forget we ramp so fast. Yeah, he should be on 8 here. Alright, so there's a Revolutionary Army stage, which is interesting. I don't see a lot of Belo Betty decks that are running this card. It is pretty consistent, but I still don't see it that often. I imagine he plays this. He's definitely searching for something here. Yep, so 2 Dawn left. It's 5, 6... Wait, 5... 6... Yeah, 2 Dawn left. Pitches a Koala. Goes digging again. There's the bird. So now bird comes down for free. He has 2 Dawn left over. So that would be Ivankov gets boost, Morley boost, and then the Inazuma also gets a boost here. So there's Belo Betty. Here comes the skill. We're pitching. Okay, there's Koala. Throws away a 2K counter. I mean, you only can swing with these 3 characters here. Yep. Effect, trash. Makes me a 4. And now it comes down to how he plays this out. Remember, we're a 4K lead. We have 1 2K counter in hand here. If he decides to attach Dawn, he gets the swing off. He goes 5 face. I will pitch the 2K here. So no matter what happens here, we're chilling. If he had decided to attach the Dawn to Belo Betty to swing, we would have taken the hit, right? Because we couldn't guard out. Because we're a 4K. And regardless, we couldn't guard out anyway. So. Okay. So now we go 8 lead. We'll take the hit. We do find a 2K, which is good. So even if all of these attacks have gone through on the final swing, we would have been able to guard out, which is nice. As long as we decided to guard either the Inazuma or Belo Betty, depending on how he set up his swings, we've been fine. Because now we can either take the next 2 hits and just chill. And now he's realizing that he thinks he messed up, which is fine. Because now if he gives us the Big Mom, we play Big Mom down and we trash life. And then we go 12k lead because he only has 1 card in hand with only 2 Dawn up. And that means he's not going to be able to get out of the attack. So we'll let this go. I guess we really didn't have to here, but this is fine. Because I want him to hit life if he's going to hit anything else. That way we can get the Big Mom. Because just in case that that extra life over there decides to be a Karasu blocker, then we're kind of in trouble. Opponent decides to pass turn here instead of giving me the extra big mom, which is fine. He still has a chance of winning the game as long as that is a blocker Karasu, which is unfortunate. We've got two 2Ks in hand here. We're going to have to swing 12K face in hopes that this is not a blocker. Can we get there? It is a trigger of some sort, but it's not a blocker Karasu, so now we're chilling. That's it. Let's go 15 lead. And good game, buddy. Well played. Last life, Katakuri, top deck, Katakuri. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the end of the video in which today we played around with Pudding playing into Belo at Gaming Giant here in Virginia. I do hope you guys enjoyed this matchup. It's very, very challenging here, especially for me. Very scary matchup. Our opponent, on the other hand, I don't necessarily want to say they choked there because they couldn't have won that match regardless if they decided to put the 2 Dawn on the Belo leader and swung in for 7 versus the 4 instead of swinging for 5 versus the 4. Because we would have taken the hit due to it being a 7K, right? We wouldn't have been able to guard out regardless, even if we were a 5K lead. Now, with that being said, our first 2K counter off life was a Hiyori, which is great. So that means we have 9K counter in total. He still has 2 extra swings here, which he had the Morley and he had the Ivankov on board, right? So we have the Ivankov, which is an 8K boost, and then you have your Inuzuma, which is a 7K, that's boosted, and then you have the Morley here, which is an 8K. So the best thing that he could have done there was attach the 2 Dawn just to force out the free hit, right? We would have got the 2K off life, then we would have had 2K counters in hand, which allows us to be 8K. As long as we guard out for the Inazuma here, which swings for 7, we were chilling, right? Now, of course, if we didn't see that 2K counter, yeah, we were probably cooked, right? There was no doubt about it, we were probably cooked. As long as that Hiyori there was a 2K, which it was, or the bottom life was a 2K, if we didn't see any 2Ks off life, we lost the game. But, thankfully, we got the 2K counter. We were able to close out this one. Very, very close, very clutch game. And that's due to the fact that in this particular build here, we're running 14 2Ks. And that's specifically for, at our local scene, we have a lot of Belo players. There is maybe like 1 or 2 Zoros, but there's also a few Yamatos here too. Everything else is pretty much every Luffy variant under the sun, and maybe a Nami and Buggy here and there. But realistically, 14 2Ks really helped out here in today's matchup, man. And I'm very, very excited about this build, and I don't think we're going to change this all too much. I think the Hiyori is very, very clutch. There are a couple changes that I want to make in the future here by taking out 2 0-cost events, perhaps, and then putting in a... what do you call that thing? The thing that allows you to... this thing. The Solvency. Just so it helps out with smoker matchups and the, what do you call it, not Belo Betty, but the Bonnie matchups, allowing us to remove the Cavendish and stuff on board. This is pretty clutch for those moments. My other option I was thinking about playing around with was the Ragnarok for every Luffy variant that has access to the 8-cost Katakuri. This just pops it for the late game. But in any case, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's matchup, man. Remember to hit that like button so we get this video floating around, and we'll catch you guys in the very next one. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all later.